Rob, after the high of qualifying in Europe, you're back to the Premiership this weekend, and familiar foes in Sale Sharks.
Yeah, and I think the key thing for us is how we can lock ourselves down now and move on into the Premiership, because there is a reality now. We're back in the Premiership. Sale are fourth in the Premiership. They're desperate to get into semi-finals and top fours. They've kind of had a genuine go at the Heineken Cup in the early rounds, and then have obviously started to move their focus towards the Premiership. We've not been in that position. We've been fully focused on the Heineken Cup for the last 2 rounds, and now we've got to be the team that can shift our focus the quickest to the Premiership, and we've also got to go out there and perform like a team that wants to take charge of some Premiership points, and that's an interesting challenge for us, but one that we've really got to make sure we lock down, and we almost enjoy that challenge of shifting from one competition to the other and showing people how good we can be despite whatever challenges there may be.
And obviously you've seen over recent weeks your squad being used, but you're going to have to utilise it a lot more now with the Six Nations kicking into play. Players are going to be missing.
Yeah, the Six Nations creates another little interesting dynamic, but one you want to have. You want to be in this scenario where a few players head off. Obviously, in a lot of ways, we'd like it to be more. So, that part of it is fine. I've got no issues with that. The thing I've got the issue with is just dropping back into Premiership mode. This is where we've got to show people and show ourselves how important the Premiership is, because, and I don't mind saying this to the players, you don't win the Premiership based on a couple of performances at the end of the year. You've got to get through an awful lot of hard work first, and if we want to keep this season in our hands, we have to collect points regularly, and you have to collect a lot of points regularly, because other teams do. So if we want to stay in the top 4 or the top 2 or whatever it is, it needs to be our goals for us to achieve what we want to achieve at the end of the season. That starts this week. It doesn't start in a month's time, or it doesn't start after Six Nations. It starts here and now, and we've got a batch of games coming up through the Six Nations where we have to collect points if we want to be anywhere near where we want to be at the end of the season.
Past experience tells you that Sale are one of the toughest opponents, and they're showing that now. They're in the top 4 for a reason, aren't they?
100%. They're very aware that they've got a squad together that can challenge every team in the Premiership. They've shown that already. I know for a fact Steve will be a little frustrated with the Heineken Cup. I know that for a fact. But that can kind of almost give you a refocus, because we felt it ourselves before in the past, can give you a real refocus on what you want in the Premiership. And that's why it's such an interesting challenge for us. I think we're good. I think we know how to win games of Premiership rugby. We've shown that in the past. And that's why this week is, like I say, it's almost a week where you got to almost hand it over to the players and go, come on, well, show us what you know. Show us what you know about winning important games of Premiership rugby, and let's get out on that field and deliver.
They've not been a million miles. We'll take last weekend's result out of the way in terms of Europe. They've been there or thereabouts, haven't they? As we saw when we played the 2 games.
Yeah, every single game they've been involved in. As you say, if you kind of take away last week a beat, every single one of them, and I even would have said that, I would have, you would have even said that when there's been a couple of decisions happen in a couple of games that have almost decided the games they've played, and that's that. And I kind of disagree with some people who feel that you don't need time in the Heineken Cup, because you do, and without doubt I think there's a couple of games that Sale have played in the Heineken Cup that probably, if they'd had 2, 3, 4 seasons on the bench, they probably would have won a couple, very much like we saw ourselves win a couple of tight games or come away with a draw at Glasgow, etc. And I think that's just where we've maybe been a little bit ahead of them in the Heineken Cup, but that counts for nothing now. Dropping back in the Premiership, we've now got to show that this is what it's all about for us. And like I say, it's an interesting challenge, real interesting mental challenge for us, that we can lock ourselves down and show ourselves how important this is, because the bread and butter, or what adds up at the end of the season, is important now.
Obviously you lost players to Six Nations, you lost Jack to injury, but at the same time the good news Monday night, seeing guys like Sam Skinner, Tom O'Flaherty coming back into the ranks, you saw some real notable displays from others there. It's given you food for thought.
Got guys who've kind of not featured that much this year because starting the season with injury, so guys like Tom Price and Will Whitty as well. I thought it was really good to see those guys out there again. As you say, watching Tom O'Flaherty get his first rugby after the scintillating start he had to the season is great. Obviously Skins has again, got injured in the World Cup warm-up situation. Heartbreaking for him not to get to the World Cup, but now he's back up and running and he's available, and he'll be desperate to show that he's ready to go, both for us in the Premiership and in Europe, but also obviously internationally. And so I think we're getting there. Stu Townsend has had a bit more rugby now and a bit more time. these guys, as our squad starts to thicken out a bit, are going to be very, very important to us. And as I said, now is the biggest test of that credential as to whether we can accelerate through the Six Nations, and we don't want to start feeling like we're just desperately trying to get a few points. I want us to go out there and look to really collect some points now, because this could be the time of the season when you can really hurt other teams and you can really benefit yourself.
Finally, you've got that break in a couple of weeks' time, but does that, as you as a coach, say to the players, go and empty your tank over these next two games? You can really go out there and prove what it's all
definitely,
about.
100%. I mean, we'll use a different squad this week to be used next week in the semi-final. Or most of the lads know they're going to be involved in one of the two games, and they all know they're going to get a week off somewhere through that period. So it is the time to go and empty the tank. It is time to be able to go, bang, this is it. This is the last game of 15 on the bounce that were Premiership or Heineken Cup. It'd be really disappointing if this was our worst performance. I would like to challenge the guys to go, come on then, let's see if this can be your best one. Because if it's our best one, we'll win. And if we win, we'll collect some very important points.